Rent-A-Girlfriend is in a bit of a spot right now. The manga is all over the place, and everybody has their opinion on how it is. Even if they haven't read it ever, they still have an opinion on it. How it's so bad that it's just needs to be canceled right now. How none of the characters make any sense, and you should watch One Piece instead. So, I thought the way to voice my opinion on that is to show you every single Chizuru figure that has ever been made and rank them. So here we go. You might be thinking that I mean just the scale figures. No. Prize figures, everything. So let's start off at the bottom here. So this is a Chizuru prize figure. They released a lot of Chizuru prize figures as soon as the series was kind of taking off, like the first season was airing, and they really haven't put out many prize figures since. They've still put out a lot of scale figures, but not a lot of prize figures. So this was one of the first ones, and I just don't really like that face. I think that face looks quite bad. I don't really think it looks like Chizuru, to be honest. It looks a little bit off, and yeah, the prize figures are gonna be towards the bottom. I'm sorry, it's just how it happens. And speaking of which, is the next prize figure. So this is probably one of her more iconic outfits here, and while it is good, you do get the little purse and everything with it, it is definitely, you can tell that it was one of the early ones. It definitely does, you see it, you think that's Chizuru. So I give it a few more points over this one, but it still is just not quite there. But it's fine. It's definitely, you know, a prize figure, so I'm not gonna hate on it too much. Let's talk about a scale figure. Actually, the very first scale Chizuru figure that we ever got. And it is just not that good, let's be honest. It just doesn't really look that good at all. The outfit looks fine, but they remade this figure later, which we'll talk about, and it just beat it in all regards. How about a 2-for-1 special here? So these are actually prize figures that are the exact same mold. There is no difference in mold for these. The only difference is the paint and the coloring and everything. And so these are actually based off an illustration that was made for this series back around season 2, and they look fine. I think, you know, obviously the biggest draw for these figures is that it's a bikini and it is very busty. So that's one big plus for it. But overall, I'm just not a big fan of these. Like, you know, one of them is winking, one of them is not. Obviously this one is black and pink, this one is gray and blue. And I mean, they look fine. I like the transparent, you know, dress here and everything. It looks nice, but I do think if anything, the breasts are a bit too big here, and it's just a bit, it's not an iconic outfit. It was only in an illustration, so it's not like it's a scene from the manga or the show, and it's fine. If I had to pick one over the other, I do like the blue one a little bit better. I actually bought this one initially and didn't buy this one. This is actually the one, like this is the special one, or this is the normal one. This is what the illustration was based off of. This was a special one that you could also buy. Now this prize figure here, I really like. This is probably the one that I have the biggest soft spot for, because I just really like this. This is when she's not in her dating outfit. This is just her regular everyday thing to where she's trying to just kind of blend in. This is her everyday stuff. And I like it. I like the pigtails here in the back. I think those look really, you know, cute and everything. And I think the way she's posed here with her glasses and everything, it looks really cute. I like it a lot. And I think, you know, not a lot of anime figures wear jeans that often. That's not really a thing they do. And I think they actually did a good job with the jeans there. They're actually like a little mold here for the side of the jeans. So pretty cool. I think it actually, for a prize figure, I'm pretty impressed by this one. And they've really never made this look again. Here's another one that was based off just an illustration. And it's this red and white outfit here. And now why I kind of like this one a little bit better than the others is because I do like the outfit design here. I do think, if anything, I don't know if this is a problem with my figure or if it's just an overall thing, but the tie here actually goes from red to white. And I don't know if that's actually a paint error or if that's just the way it is. Either way, I think that's a bit goofy looking, but I do think the face looks pretty good. And overall, I do think it looks pretty nice. I think they did a really good job on the hair on this one. Chizuru's hair is pretty iconic now, so you really have to nail that, and I think it does pretty good. And, you know, the skirt being a little high here, it gives you the tease if you're into that. I know a lot of anime figures will do that, to where they'll kind of have the skirt a little bit high, and if you have it on a top shelf, you can see up the skirt. So if you're into that, there you go. These next two are really close for really different reasons. And the first one here, the one that I decided is not quite as good as the other, is the China dress version here. Now, the main reason I'm gonna put this a little bit lower is this was one of the early Chizuru figures. It is not the first. This one was, but this is one of the earlier ones, and they still did not quite have Chizuru's face all the way down pat. It is a little bit off. It is a lot closer than that one was, but it's not as close as the really good ones have got it. Now, what I do really like about this outfit is the gold here on the outfit. I think it looks really nice, and I think overall the dress itself looks pretty good. You have the little cut here at the side. You have, obviously, you know, she's very busty. I think the hair looks fine, not perfect, but fine. You know, and the pose looks nice. You get the leg action and everything. It's a solid figure, but it's just not up to the par of what it is nowadays. And I do think if I were to say to make this again, I would make this dress a bit less. The red is just not that vibrant, and I really wish it would have been. Maybe make it a maroon instead, and just really like make the gold stand out. And I'll mention it whenever I show you another figure later, but they have made some like glittery type outfits, and I think this one really could have done that, and then it really would have stood out on your shelf. Maybe make it like a really deep red, but either way, I think this figure is on the right track, and if they ever made another China dress version, I think they could do it really good, but this one is just not that. The next one here is Chizuru in a chair. So I like this one for a few different reasons, but I want to really quickly tell you what I don't really like about it. First off here is kind of a nitpick, because this figure is insanely hard to sit on your shelf because it doesn't actually sit on this chair. It's just got a butt imprint there, and you have to fit her butt on this chair. And if it is not perfect, then it will fall over, or it'll tilt the chair out from under her, and it's just not that good. And you might say, well, what about the base? Because surely this figure came with a base. It did, but the chair doesn't sit to it, and the figure doesn't sit to it. So nothing about this figure connects to one another, and I don't really like that, because if you have it on a high shelf, what if it falls off? You know, I don't like that, because she's got this thinking leg here that's sticking way out. Oh, her hair came out. But she's got this leg that's sticking way out, and obviously this little piece of hair that could easily break off. Now, thankfully, that is meant to come off, so it's not broke, but that is something to be aware of, so there you go. Now, I will say this figure does have a really nice face. I do like it more than some of the others, and I do think the dress as a whole looks really nice. I think this one does do the chest area a bit better than others. You know, not perfect, but a lot better than the others. And while I think the leg is a bit much, it does look nice, and it's well done with the ribbon on this one, no ribbon on this one. It's a very, you know, attractive figure. All right, let's talk about two more prize figures here. The first of which is this Sundress Chizuru here. And this actually looks really nice. So this is probably one of the latest Chizuru figures that I've purchased. This was one that was kind of harder to find. I had to order it from Japan because it never really got an English release. But I think it looks really nice. You have the sunflowers down here coming out of her basket and everything. I think the dress as a whole looks really nice. If you look at it from the front, it's blowing in the wind and she's kind of holding down the front. If you look at it from the back, well, there you go. You can look up her skirt, which is, you know, a plus for most people. The next one here is the first Taito prize figure here. And man, does this one look nice. It's a little bunny maid outfit here. And to be one of the first Chizuru figures we ever got, they nailed that face. Like, for reference, this is, I think, the third one that ever got released, right beside this one and this one. So, considering the face on those two and then this one, man, they really improved, didn't they? in a short amount of time. But overall, I like this thing. The little leggings here are very glossy. It's nice. You have the thighs here that have the little belts and everything. You have a tail here on the back. It's just overall really nice. You know, the texture here on that is really nice. It's just overall a really good figure for being a prize figure. So this next one technically is a prize figure, but it's a bigger than most prize figures, and it's more detailed than most prize figures. So I don't really include it with the Taito or the Banpresto ones. It's just a really good figure, to be honest, that was pretty cheap. So this figure comes with this like little jacket here, and I like this a lot. I think the jacket does look nice. Now this is not the perfect looking figure. There are some flaws in it, obviously being as cheap as it is. The hair is not done up like most of them are with the classic looking little tie there. But I'm kind of fine with that because it's something different. And you know, while I know that's what she normally does, it doesn't mean that all of her prize figures or all of her figures have to look like that. So I'm gonna give it a pass on that because I just really like the look of this one. I think the overall stylistic choices with this one look really nice. I like the shoes down here with the little socks that are kind of cuffed there. Looks really nice. And you know, out of all of them, this one has this little pink kind of glossy thing here. And not to sound like a complete perv here, but 99% of anime figures come with white underwear. That's just what they come with, and usually there's no detail to them at all. But this one, they actually made her underwear pink, like the little bag. Attention to detail that you can't even see because this view, that's just like 90% butt there. But it's there. Ba-doom-tish. All right, time to get into the more expensive ones here. So this is Chizuru in the little Utaka Japanese dress, like pajama thing, hot springs dress, whatever. And first off, let's set the figure to the side. You do get this thing, which is just a big like room here. And it comes with a big bed and everything like that. And this is cool. This is cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cool. But there's another one that does something similar to this later, and it does it better. This is not bad. This is, you know, well done. You get the little design here, you get the windows, they look nice and everything. You can't really see through them, but it looks, you know, fine. But like I said, they raised the price just for this, and I don't know if it's necessarily worth it, but it's cool. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty cool. Now, as for the figure herself here, it does look pretty nice. So obviously this is meant to be like a drunk looking Chizuru here. She's got the outfit here. She's being a little bit careless and letting her chest come out there. She's got the alcohol in this hand and, hey, feet. So there you go. Overall, I mean, it's a solid figure. It's another one to where she's got her hair let down. So like whenever I was being apologetic to the one, you know, this one, that's kind of why I was getting at that. So yeah, I mean, the design of it looks nice. It kind of works. Do I think it's the best looking figure? Not necessarily, but I don't think it's the worst. And I think as an overall presentation, it looks pretty nice. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I was very happy with this whenever I first bought it. So I'm still a bit, you know, a little bit sentimental towards it. Next up, the Chizuru party dress look here. So this one I have a love-hate relationship with because on one hand, I like a lot that this figure does. I think the outfit itself is very nice. I think having her taking her shoe off and the leg here, I think it looks really well done. I love the little carpet look here. It's like a red carpet. I think that looks really nice. The different hair here. It's not the standard one, which I think is very fitting here because it's meant to be, she's dressing up to look very nice. And I think letting her hair down is what she would do. She has earrings and everything looks really nice. It even is one of the mini figures that I have made known to you that she is apparently, and other figures, don't go wearing any kind of it's a little bit nippy wherever she's at. This premiere must be in the winter, and she must have forgot to wear anything underneath this dress. But anyway, but what I don't like about this figure is that I don't really like the way that these leggings are done. So they're obviously meant to be like pantyhose, or whatever they're called in other places. That's what we call them here. And so, like, they just don't look that good, to be honest. It looks like she's got tan legs. Like, I get what they were going for. It works because they make it kind of glittery and everything. But in the end of the day, I just don't really love it. But everything else about this figure, I really adore. I think this figure is really, really, really well done. I love the way that her hair is like she's running her hand through it. It's really well done. Okay, top 10 now. We are into the final 10. And so I kind of had to put this one here because I really didn't know where else to put it, because it's a really well done Nendoroid. It does everything that I want it to do. It's this pink outfit, which is the same one as this one. And I kind of like that. I really wish they'd make another one to where it's a different version of Chizuru, but it's a solid one. The hair looks really nice. It's that red and brown there and everything. It looks nice. They did mimic this look, which is the classic look here. So pretty nice looking. I like the faces that it comes with. And overall, it's a really solid little Nendoroid here. It's one of the first Nendoroids that I got, probably in the first like 15. So I am a little bit sentimental towards this one. I'm a big Nendoroid fan, so I'm gonna be more forgiving towards this and put it higher than most people will. But I figured at the bottom of the top 10 is the best place for it. Santa figure number 1. There's actually 2 Santa figures. We'll get to the other one here in a minute. You can actually see it up there. But this is the second one they made. So this whole Santa outfit here is based off a body pillow. And so one Santa figure is based off one side of the body pillow, the other Santa figure is based off the other side. And the figure we got first that I'll show you here in a minute is obviously the one that translates better to a figure. This one just doesn't. Now, this figure, if it was laying down on a bed, if she had her arms behind her head, laying on a bed, sure, that works, because then it makes sense that she is in this pose. But doing this coming out of a box, it just doesn't really work as well as the other one. And I don't really think this fits Chizuru's kind of, look here compared to what the other one is. This one is fine, and I mean, if you're into the busty anime girl, then there you go. It also comes with this big Santa bag, which is neat, and then the box here is neat, and then you get a big lid, which is neat. And the Santa outfit is fuzzy, so like right here, the little white things here, that's fuzzy. The hat is fuzzy. The underwear is fuzzy. So you get the little like flocked fuzzy thing, which is, neat. It adds a little bit of, texture to it, makes it look kind of nice. Next up, we have Cat Chizuru. So I like this figure quite a bit because it's just so unique. This is the only like laying down Chizuru figure we have besides this one. And I think it's well done though, because you don't get this big base here. You just get this. And it actually looks really nice in my opinion. I like the feet. I think they add some color to it. I think you could easily have made this figure to where it's more revealing, to where if you would have gave her like underwear instead of these shorts here, I think it would have taken away from the figure a little bit. Having it be more of a, shorts and everything, I think it makes it look a little bit better. And, the outfit, the top as well, it's not super revealing. Obviously, there are, breasts there. But, overall, it's just not, super revealing, but I kind of like that. It adds a little bit to it. Now, the hair here, I think looks really nice. So like when you lay it down, the hair is actually like on the, you can see it there, it's on the table and it looks really nice. I think that looks really cool because it does look like if a cat girl was laying on a floor or whatever. All right, I've put it off long enough. It's time to talk about the freeing bunny. So this freeing bunny, I gotta give a little bit of credit to. I make the point a lot whenever I'm unboxing freeing bunnies and everything that I don't like whenever it's just a generic bunny outfit, when there's nothing really unique about it. And the Rent-A-Girlfriend line, not necessarily this one, but as a whole, did some unique things. And this one did a few unique things. They had the, like, tights or leggings or nets, whatever, don't go all the way up. They just go to right here, and I kind of like that, because then you get these little, straps or whatever going from here. You also get them in the back here, and they look really nice. I also think the red outfit does, give off good Chizuru vibes. I kind of like the red, and I also like the pose. I think this thing to where she's not necessarily like completely hiding herself, because I don't think that's what Chizuru would do in this situation, but I think kind of this annoyed look, I kind of like it. I think it fits Chizuru. And obviously it's quite busty, and I think that's actually a pretty accurate bust size for Chizuru's character. And I do want to clarify, I'm a big fan of this figure. I think as a fan service figure, breasts look nice, butt looks nice. What else are you really wanting out of a bunny Earl outfit? But I do think this line could have been better. If you're gonna do some unique things, go all out. Don't just do it kind of mediocre. I do think this is the best of the Rent-A-Girlfriend line, and I've grown on it a lot. I don't think the face is perfect, but I do think it's better than some. But overall, it's fine, and it's still one of my favorites. I still like it quite a bit, but I do think it could have been better. And as for the price and everything, it could have been better. Now for the first of two of these lingerie figures here. Now, the lingerie figure that we'll talk about here in a minute, the other one, is higher. And there's a reason that it's higher, is because it was the first one to do it. This lingerie figure is just a repaint. There is no difference. It was not a special edition like this one was. This one released the same time as this one. So you really had this option to where you could buy the pink one, buy the blue one. It was not a, here was the original one, here is now this one, and if you didn't get the original one, now you're forced to buy the white one because the black one is no longer available. And while this is a fantastic figure mold, I love this mold. I love that there is a little door here, and you can have it to where you can peek in on her while she's changing. I like that you can take off the little robe things here and everything. Like all of this transparent stuff can be removed. And I like that a lot. I think it, presents a lot of possibilities to how to display this figure. You can rotate the figure. So if you want to have her kind of peeking through the door, and then you can like accidentally walk in on her, you could do that too. There is so many possibilities with this figure, and that's why it's so high. Not only that, but if you're a big fan of the Santa Chizuru, here's the outfit. So it's a storyline to where she was doing the Santa outfit, maybe she was doing it for Kazuya, and now she has gone into the bathroom and she has taken it off, put on her lingerie, and now, whoops, you just walked in on her changing. That's gonna be like 15 chapters in the manga now, because you're gonna have to go over the fallout of that. But what I don't like about this figure is that I think the white does not look as good as the black. We'll talk about the black one here in a minute, but the white just doesn't look that nice. The black is a good transition, or it looks contrast against the figure here. She is a very not tanned character. She is, pale skin. So whenever you have that pale skin on white, it just looked like, from this distance, you can't tell any of the lingerie details. You're just seeing a generic looking white girl here. The black one, you can see those details from a far distance away, and it looks better on a shelf. It just looks better as a figure as, in general. Now, it's still a great figure. If this is the one you got, that's great. But the black one, actually, even now, because both of them are out of stock now, the black one is probably easier to get because it had a longer sale window, and it's probably easier to get on the secondary market now. The white one is actually getting harder to find, so I don't really, what was the purpose of this? Like, I don't get it. Don't display your anime figures like this. But we're gonna do that because it's fine. I used to display it like this. Time for the top 5. These all are great. Every one of them I think is worthy of buying if you're a Chizuru fan. If you're a die-hard Rent-A-Girlfriend fan, buy these 5 figures. They are worth it. And I said earlier that there was a remake of this figure, and there is. So this is actually based off of, well, that one is just based off the outfit. This is a exact replica figure made to look like the Volume 1 cover, and I think it looks really nice. They really nailed the face on this one. The outfit looks better. The pose is the exact same that's on the manga. So if you're going to say, what figure should I buy if I only want to buy one Chizuru figure? It's probably this one, because this is Chizuru. This is what she looks like right off the bat. The detail in the outfit looks so much better than that other one. The little flowers on her dress is accurate size. They're a little bit too big on that one. The bag looks so much better on this one compared to the old one. You can see all the little gold detail and everything on it. It just looks really nice. And then just the shoes, the hair, the little accessory on her arm here. Everything looks better on this figure compared to that one. And while that one I'm nostalgic for because it's the first one, this figure is just by far better. And I would highly recommend buying this one over that one, or really any of these other ones, because if you only want to buy one, this is Chizuru. And that's what makes it so good. Now this next one, before I really got into the notion that I was going to buy every Chizuru figure ever released, this is one that I skipped on. I didn't buy it initially. And the more I looked at it and I saw it online, I thought, you know what, that figure kind of looks pretty good. So I ended up picking it up, and wow, this is a good figure. So right off the bat, the face looks great. This was about the time they were really nailing the face on Chizuru, and it looks great. That is Chizuru without a doubt. They have nailed it by this point. I like the pose to where it's like she's turning in the wind, her hair is blowing, and that is some really pretty hair. Chizuru has pretty hair to begin with because of the red highlights down here at the end, and this one really shows that off well. Not only that, but in the front here, this is when they started to do these little like paint points here in her hair to really show off that kind of the color in her hair, and I think that looks really nice. Not only that, but the outfit here, well, it's just based off artwork, so it's just an illustration like some of the other ones were. I do think it looks really nice. I think the light pink here looks really nice. I like this little vest thing here. I think the detail in that is really well done. And while, you know, it's not super like busty and you don't get a lot of cleavage or whatever, I do think it looks still nice. And not only that, but I do like, you know, the details and the accessories and everything. But as I mentioned before, with another figure here, there is a detail in this one that I think makes it that much better, because it has pink underwear. There you go. All right, time for the top 3, and we have the other Santa Chizuru here. So this one is the one that came out first and is based off the other side of the, you know, body pillow. And I think this one looks a little bit better because it's meant to be, as you all, I assume you know, a body pillow, what one side is supposed to be like them facing you, the other side is supposed to be like them looking away from you, to where it's like if you flip it over, they flipped over. And that's what you get with this one. So you get a pose to where she is kind of looking back at you, you get a more focus on her butt here, and you have it to where her top is falling off. And I kind of like this because this looks like the type of pose that would be coming out of a box. Because, all right, she popped up out of the box, her top comes off, and then she turns around to try to put it back on, looking back to see if you saw it. That looks a lot more believable to me than the one over here that you can't see right now, to where she is just popping out of the box and she's like, hey, look at my breast. I don't really like that. I like this one better, and I think it looks really nice. It's got all of the same things that the first one has, the fuzzy underwear, the fuzzy hat, the fuzzy top that you can't really get to because it's all wrapped up in her arms in the front, but it looks really nice. It's also a square box compared to the little, like, you know, pentagon box, or octagon or hexagon box, whatever it is, the other one. But the hair looks nice. The face is okay, not perfect, but it's made up for by the rest of the figure being really well done. And just overall, this is one of my favorites. It's not perfect, but it's really, really well done. All right, top two. This one, I love it so much because I saw this figure originally and I thought, it's just another figure to just show off her body and that's it. It's not gonna be that good. Why don't you make cool dress ones? Because when you make a cool dress one, you get something cool like this, but they just didn't do that here. But I'm amazed at the level of detail in this figure that makes it like, this is Chizuru. They have nailed Chizuru's body, they've nailed her face, they've nailed her hair. Everything about her is nailed here. And you can see there, her face is once again just perfect. That is Chizuru without a doubt. Now you get this cool one-piece swimsuit here, and the pink looks so nice. I mentioned earlier this China dress here, and it really having the main problem of it just doesn't really pop. The red doesn't pop. The pink in this one pops. You see that pink and you're like, dang, that is a hot pink in more ways than one. And it just looks so nice. The level of paintwork on this looks so well done. There's nothing about it that is, you know, kind of faded or doesn't really pop. It all does, and it contrasts with her skin down here so well, because while this is a, you know, metallic-y shiny, this is the skin tone, and it looks really nice, because not only do you get, you know, not necessarily a lot of cleavage, but you do get the breast looking there, but the, like, probably the best looking butt in an anime figure that I have ever seen. There you go. I think after she gets done with this picture, she's probably gonna wanna get her swimsuit out of her tail because it is definitely full on wedgie at this point. But not only that, but the legs look great. I'm really impressed by anime figures that don't have any seams in a leg this long. I think that looks really nice. Not only that, feet. There you go. The hair looks nice. Just overall, this is a really nice figure because it just goes to show you how far they've come from stuff like the China dress, from stuff like this one over here. They have nailed it, and I can't wait to see what new things we get with Chizuru. By the way, this is her newest figure, so more to come. And finally, the best Chizuru figure from Rent a Girlfriend is the black lingerie figure. So I talked a lot about everything I loved about this figure whenever I talked about this figure, but this one was the first one to do it, and I think it does it so much better. So this is based off an illustration of Chizuru in her lingerie. They made one for all of the characters, and that's why I kind of was upset at this one, because instead of making a Chizuru one, why didn't you make a Ruka one? Why didn't you make a Mami one? Why not Sumi one? You could have made any of them, put them in the same background, just made a new figure, but they didn't do that. This one, though, was perfect. They didn't need to make anything else, but they did. But I really want to, you know, go over everything again. The Santa thing, being down in the outfit there, or the little basket there. The whole outfit itself looks really nice. The, you know, cleavage and everything is there. The butt, the door, the towel, the little rug. How many figures have rugs? But whenever I first unboxed this figure, I was just blown away at how good it was. This is the type of anime figure I love because it doesn't just make a lingerie figure. It made more. It made an environment that looks great, a base that looks great, little details that we didn't need, but it worked, like the Santa thing. We didn't need that, but there it is. None of that's in the illustration. The illustration is just Chizuru. The fact you can remove everything, these little transparent pieces to expose more of her skin and everything, there you go. You can do all of that, and it makes the figure that much better because it's not that you bought the outfit or the whole figure for this thing. You bought it because you just wanted this figure. Everything else is just an extra that you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting all that. And that's what I want out of a figure. This Chizuru figure is amazing in my opinion. One of the best anime figures in my collection and my favorite Chizuru figure that I own. So that is all the Chizuru figures from Rent a Girlfriend ranked. What do you think? Do you love Chizuru as much as I do? Also, honorable mention, there is a life-size figure. I know somebody in the comments will be like, there's a life-size figure, you don't have that. Okay, it was a one-on-one figure made for an expedition. It was not made by the creator. The creator just had it because he was at the expedition. It was made for promotional reasons. Obviously, I don't own that figure because it's probably in storage somewhere so they can use it again if they ever wanted to. But it is basically this figure, but big, and it looks nice. You know, if it's sitting in a box, it's taking up room in a warehouse, you know, if you'll take like, 10 grand for it, maybe we can make a deal. We can put her in the back here. The Nezuko plushie needs a friend. Hit me up. I'll do it. Don't tempt me. I'll do it. You know how bad I am down for this girl. I'll do it. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys very soon with the next video. Bye.